Welcome, my friends. It is Monday, December 19th, 2011. As we prepare to close out the year, 2011 is certainly long in the tooth. We mourn the death of the dear leader, Kim Jong-il, but of course his president father is still president, even though he died in the mid-1990s, because he is eternal leader, and now they have passed on the flame to the latest runt in a jumpsuit engaging in genocide against his own people. And before we talk about the sad passing of Kim Jong-il and get into the exciting news that Ron Paul has turbocharged to the pole position as the official campaign for president begins, as the Republican primary is about to kick off in Iowa, he is now dominating with a healthy lead at number one, the guy that couldn't win, can't win. More than 80% of the people that end up getting the win in Iowa end up getting the Republican nomination, but now they're back saying now Iowa doesn't matter as Ron Paul surges into the pole position as the campaign kicks off. So we're going to be talking about that as well. But first, I need to get to some very, very serious news this evening. And that deals with the latest developments on Kellogg, Brown and Root. And the fact that they were given the government contract to build the FEMA camps, the latest round of FEMA camps that were built in 2006, the $380+ million just to build those new camps. Well, even though we had phone numbers, emails, it was a public contract that they got, people didn't believe it. No mainstream media picked up our story. And every day, mainstream media follows our lead and picks up reports that we break. And we're a credible news organization, and everybody knows that. But this is something that was totally blacked out. Now, thanks to listeners pointing it out, on the official federal government contract website, they have the National Responder Support Camp that deals with concertina wire, blockades, jails, the whole nine yards. We have from back in May of this year, where the federal government quietly went out and put out the bid not to build more camps, but to prepare on a 72-hour notice, man the camps all over the United States. And of course, they're getting ready for rioting and passing laws, use the military domestically on citizens and have us disappear and torture us and censor the internet. It's all happening. Those of you that said that it wasn't happening, it's all happening. And so now we don't just have the overall umbrella contractor, Kellogg, Brown and Root of Halliburton, going and getting subcontractors to be paid around the clock to be standing by to fully deploy at the camps. But now we have the federal government from back in May when they went and originally went to get the general contractor. So there it is, fedbizopps.gov. You can go there and you can look at HSFEHQ-10-R-0027, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Homeland Security, the foreign banking receivership arm to destroy states' rights and national sovereignty. And you can read what they need, what they're asking for, the preparations that they are gearing up for. And you can see the groups that filed for it: Critical Response Networks, LLC, Safety Temps, Ltd., Wamban Group, LLC, First Choice Financial Group, LLC. And you see here who filed also, a for-profit organization, And you can see all the different contracts that they're requesting to carry out different functions at the camp. And some of these are for security and jail personnel. And they've been hiring also internment specialists at a breakneck speed, both civilian and Army, as well as Marine. And there it is, Kellogg Brown and Root Services. And it's Clinton Drive, Houston, Texas. Yeah, I've driven by that. So there you have it. Oh, that's interesting. The lead singer of The Doors is running it, Jim Morrison. and the media, you can call that number. You can call Mr. Jim Morrison. You can email him, but no one will report on this. And ask what the Emergency Camp Gear Up is for. We have the Emergency Centers Act. We have the Military Commissions Act. We have the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Act. We have all these admissions that, for hurricanes, tornadoes, disasters, civil unrest, economic collapse, they admit that it's also for political reasons, just like with the Japanese. The head of the big national American Japanese group has been on this show and gone public with their concerns about all this. But no, quote, mainstream media, that means big corporate New World Order owned liars, have touched this. And we need to have our listeners contact them, contact radio hosts across the country, and say, hey, do you think this is important? Do you think that this is a issue? Because some people are living in denial about this, kind of like there's denial going on with the NDAA that a month ago we began to report on. People said, look, it doesn't affect U.S. citizens because this subsection says so. It was written deceptively, as Congressman Paul and others have said. But then in another section, it says, unless we say so. And then in about a week or two into that, about 2 weeks ago, the authors of it, Senator Carl Levin, Lindsey Graham, McCain, they all got asked about it. And they said, yeah, it's for citizens. We'll lock you up and you'll never be seen again. And then the president had his spokesman say, oh, he's against this. And then Levin had to come out. We played the clip like 4 times. We'll play it again here in a minute. And say, no, the president asked us to do this. Okay? And then the president said he wasn't going to sign it, or his surrogates did, and now he's saying he's going to sign it any day now. Obama's U-turn on definite detention bill, a historic tragedy for the Bill of Rights. And that's gotten wide coverage. But I thought that I would go ahead and get into the NDAA secret torture provision. Now, you've heard me mention that it's the Inde Posse Comitatus. Troops can operate anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide. It's a declaration of war against everybody and just a blank check. And it transfers all that power directly to the president. So the Congress becomes more and more ceremonial or vestigial, just like in the days of Rome, as the Caesars took more power during that decline. And so we got together a whole bunch of clips of different senators that sponsored and supported the bill, talking about, I want you to be scared. I want Al-Qaeda to be scared. But then you read what Al-Qaeda is, it's any U.S. citizen. They also say in the bill that the military can offensively shut down any websites in the U.S. they want preemptively if they don't agree with the mission of the USA, which means the foreign banks that are destroying America and our Bill of Rights and Constitution. I mean, yes, there are so many facets to this that, again, I don't have words to describe to you how serious and how out of control all of this is. It is mind-boggling. And then because it's all a military operation of deception, not our general military, but the big brain bugs on top that run it all, we have to contend with their psyop of denying that any of this is in there, as the major military publications admit there is, as the military begins to deploy on our streets, as the TSA all over the country sets up checkpoints, until everybody's just acclimated to accept it. I mean, this is all beginning and unfolding and already launched right now. It isn't coming, it's here. And this week they're trying to pass a bill to shut down any website they want via the FBI, who just deploys the military to do it remotely or to physically go to your servers. I mean, this is trumping North Korea or Nazi Germany on paper when it comes to authoritarianism. Now, I've got a bunch of these clips we put together. Some of them we've never aired, some we have. But I think the first clip we've got, because this is teleprompter-free news, is Lieberman just a week ago, acting incredibly creepy on the floor, the day before they passed it, in the Senate, talking about scaring people. And of course, it's really for the American people. The internal terror training manuals. And we're going to do this tomorrow night because I just thought of it watching this Lindsey Graham clip coming up too. We're going to have clips of our government on record working with al-Qaeda, using them in Serbia, using them against Russia, using them recently against Iran, and using them against Muammar Gaddafi and the al-Qaeda flag flying and the underwear bomber being gotten on a plane by the U.S. government. And all of these people working for the criminals that run our nation as a pretext to menace the U.S. to give up our liberties. You got it? So when they say, if you're a citizen and you work with al-Qaeda, but you read the fine print, it's everybody, it's any crime, you're going to disappear and we're going to torture you. They actually say that. And we want to scare you because we're old, creepy, sick men. Remember, these are guys that know full well that at their level of government, they run al-Qaeda. I mean, so literally, they're talking about themselves here. These are tyrants and terrorists. These are Hitlers of our age, Stalins, Mao's. These are Kim Jong-il's. You're looking at it. And it's a bunch of weak, chicken-necked old men who get off on deploying forces and murdering people worldwide, talking all creepily how they want to scare people. They take innocent 12 and 13-year-olds to Gitmo and torture them on record to create fake al-Qaeda to go out and carry out bombings. That's come out. So remember it. You are looking at slime bags that live to terrorize you and your family with a threat of terror. And by the way, later in the week, I'm going to do a report showing you 500 plus killed a year by elephants, 300 killed by crocodiles, a dozen or so by large sharks, hundreds and hundreds by water moccasin rattlesnakes alone, hundreds and hundreds by bees, and show you thousands killed by electrocution, tens of thousands, from water, and then terrorism way down there at the bottom. And when you watch them try to scare you, the terrorists are going to get you. So we got to use the army, and we got to let Corzine take your bank accounts, and we got to raise your taxes, and we got to feel your wife's breast and grab your children's genitals because Al-Qaeda. And let me tell you, if you work with Al-Qaeda, you're going to disappear forever, and we want to scare you. And you want a lawyer as a citizen? No, you don't get one. You know what? If we could get these criminals out of government and bring out all the stuff that we already know, all of you will get a trial and you'll all get a jury, okay? Because we want the proof of what you are to come out before you are punished. I mean, folks, these are dangerous people. And so it's personal for all of us. These are dangerous tyrants who Cass Sunstein at the White House admits they want to arrest, quote, conspiracy theorists. That is people that think and know they're liars. You know these crooks are liars? You're a conspiracy theorist. You don't like Corzine taking your money? They said that's a conspiracy theory. The money's gone. He won't say where it went. He's been caught lying about it. And if you don't like it, you're a conspiracy theorist. I mean, can I just walk up on the street and rob an old lady at gunpoint? And she goes, how dare you rob me? And I say, it's a conspiracy theory, honey. This didn't happen. And she's like, oh, it's okay then. You called me a conspiracy theory. That's the mind games these dirtbags play with us. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of their crap. They're tyrants right out in front, testing the perch. You know, a parrot, before it steps onto something, will reach over and test to see if it's stable. They're like, well, are they going to let us rape them? Yeah, okay, we'll take it more. Hell, we took all the military's death benefits. We're shipping drugs in and getting caught. We shipped guns into Mexico and tried to blame the Second Amendment. Hell, there's nothing they won't do. Let's just use the military and declare the patriots terrorists and tell them it's Al-Qaeda. We're a bunch of old crooks, bunch of old hunchback bastards. This is fun. Nobody will stand up against us. I mean, you're looking at our version of Hitler. You're looking at people that will literally destroy freedom, that the whole world is scared of, who've got nuclear weapons out of control and no one will call them on it. They hate my guts, too. I've had this from the highest level sources, including people that are inside Bilderberg. Ron Paul, they hate him. But they know they kill us. They only make us bigger. They know we're real men and not little pieces of crap like them. And I'm sorry to talk like this, but these people are absolute enemies of humanity and pose as the guardians of it when they run Al-Qaeda. Those are the bosses of Al-Qaeda I'm about to show you. There's the article, Indefinite Detention. Political Washington abolishes due process protections. Okay, let's go into the first clip. Here is the little coward chicken neck just savoring that he's about to fully overturn the Bill of Rights and Constitution in 1776. And I want them to be scared. You mean the underwear bomber you get on the plane? I want them to be afraid. You mean the Al-Qaeda you gave control of Libya to? I want them. No, he's thinking about you. He's on record wanting to shut down our free speech in America. He's talking about you, not Al-Qaeda that works for him. Here it is.
When a member of Al-Qaeda or a similar associated terrorist group is captured, I want that person to be terrified about what's going to happen to them in American custody. I want them not to know what's going to happen. I want the terror that they inflict on others to be felt by them as a result of the uncertainty of not knowing that they can look on the internet and find exactly what our interrogators are going to be limited to.
The law of the land is
wannabe tough guy thug. It's just like Kim Jong-il, just little sacks, little soft scumbag bullies. I mean, it's a family show. I'm not going to say it. I mean, it's the same thing with the Nazis. Their leadership was a bunch of effeminate trash as well. And the communists, I just can't handle it. God, why do we let demons run everything? Why don't good people stand up against scum like this? America, these people just want to hurt goodness. I mean, sitting there, I want the terrorists to be scared. I want them to be terrorized. You become the terrorist, and they know that. They're selling you on how they're going to terrorize you. They're setting the precedents. Do you understand? They are at the highest level of the government, of the illegitimate government. They staged it. They know about Fast and Furious. They know about 9/11, Oklahoma City, all of it. These are dangerous people. Nobody's safe. We're the target. Okay, let's go to Lindsey Graham. Here he is.
the law of the land is that if you choose to help Al-Qaeda, you've committed an act of war against your fellow citizens, and you can be held as an enemy combatant for an indeterminate period of time, so we can gather intelligence about what you may have done or about what you know about the enemy.
What you know about the enemy. And then there's other clips with them going into the fact that it's U.S. citizens. And then you find out they use that term, it's just Al-Qaeda. Remember Bush? We're just listening to Al-Qaeda's phone calls. Then it turned out it was their political enemies, everybody. And it was illegal, and they just said, so what? Nobody gets in trouble. Let's go ahead and go to the next clip of him on a big power trip.
And to those American citizens thinking about helping Al-Qaeda, please know what will come your way. Death, detention, prosecution. And when they say, I want my lawyer, you tell them, shut up.
Your time is expired.
Get a lawyer. You're an enemy combatant, and we're going to talk to you about why you joined Al-Qaeda.
If you're an American citizen helping Al-Qaeda, the only people they've gotten to actually think they're working with the imaginary CIA, Al-Qaeda, are always poor people who are mildly retarded, and literally they've all got about 85 IQs or lower, who they recruit out of the prisons that are the giant modern universities of corruption. And then they're always led by an FBI. Even mainstream media admits it's all setups. And they go and they find some weak-minded person. They pay them all this money. Okay, we're going to deliver you the bomb now. Go put it under the Christmas tree. Remember last year to scare everybody so the government can dominate the news headlines. And that dirty Al-Qaeda, they even want to get our Christmas. And I'm not saying there aren't Muslim extremists. Let's get that straight. The point is, Al-Qaeda is as phony as a $3 bill. You got me? This isn't my opinion. It isn't my opinion that male walruses have tusks. It's not my opinion that the Easter Bunny isn't real. It's not my opinion. You understand? There's some things that are bull, like the Easter Bunny. There's other things that are real. The government shipped tens of thousands of guns into Mexico and drugs back into the country. It's all come out, buried in the newspaper. These are criminals, folks, and we all sit here like naive idiots while these megalomaniacs on power trips try to start World War III. And you've got this cowardly little creature about citizens want to see a lawyer, and he's like, you asked for a lawyer? I said, shut up. That's so they can silence any of us they want. The government runs Al-Qaeda. The criminals in government stage these things. It's a fact, folks. Hundreds of pieces of evidence, incontrovertible, and they're all in the intelligence committees. They all know this crap. They all know. And they're trying to sell you on pure evil. Do you have any idea how much danger we're in? Oh, these people are so evil. Let's go ahead and go to Senator Carl Levin. And I played this one before because there's a bunch of these clips where it's on record, it does affect citizens, and Obama was for it. And I've had constitutional lawyers on, Bruce Fine, Ron Paul says it establishes martial law. He's in Congress. For those of you in denial, you need to understand, folks, this is really happening, okay? It was just like the Patriot Act. They said, oh, it doesn't affect citizens. Now it's admitted it does. People are like, well, of course it does. It's just Al-Qaeda. All right, let's go to the next clip. Here it is.
And I'm wondering whether the senator is familiar with the fact that the language which precluded the application of Section 1031 to American citizens was in the bill that we originally approved in the Armed Services Committee, and the administration asked us to remove the language which says that U.S. citizens and lawful residents would not be subject to this section. Is the senator familiar with the fact that it was the administration that asked us to remove the very language which we had in the bill which passed the committee, and that we removed it at the request of the administration, that would have said that this determination would not apply to U.S. citizens and lawful residents? I'm just wondering, is the senator familiar with the fact that it was the administration which asked us to remove the very language, the absence of which is now objected to by the senator from Illinois?
We got another clip of Rand Paul, who I know and who's a good man, saying, I know you well-meaning senators think you're helping America, but this destroys America. And of course, Rand's trying to be polite. You can't be polite with dirtbags, okay? These people are trying to destroy everything that makes this country special and protects our families, okay? And look, I don't like having to get up here and tell hardcore tyrants who run murderous operations worldwide that they're pieces of crap. But you know what? It's got to be done, okay? Everybody's got to stop kissing these degenerate old men's butts, okay? I'm here to tell you, folks, okay? I'm tired of it. These are the commanders of Al-Qaeda. Those senators that are supporting all this are all knee-deep in all this stuff. A lot of them up to their eyeballs in it. And I've had it with you. I'm not going to play your hoax anymore, where they put a sock puppet, of Al-Qaeda up and go, give me your rights away or I'm going to get you. I'm going to blow something up if you don't let me take all your rights and steal your bank accounts and take over all these countries. Do what I say. To the American people, like, oh, yes, sir. You're so powerful. Do what I say. I want an Al-Qaeda puppet. I want to show people what they do. Because, here's the globalists. Oh, Al-Qaeda's scary. And I'm like, hey, you're running it. They're like, no, don't look at me. I'll arrest you. I mean, that's what it is. It's just like, oh, Al-Qaeda will get you. And I'm like, look, your arm is running it. I mean, you get them on the airplanes, you protect them, you give them the country's control. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and live like an idiot. I know it's fun at a primitive level to, the Al-Qaeda, it's a guy wearing looks like a big blouse, Obi-Wan Kenobi with a big beard. It's so scary. Oh, my God, they're going to get me. Yes, grope my wife. But it's all aimed at you. Just remember that. And down the road, don't say you weren't warned. Many years from now, after we've gone through this great intensification of evil, let's just not relive it the next time. Please learn from history, future generations. If you're watching this, if they don't eradicate it all from the web with the systems they've got, they can erase everything they want off TiVo, like our show about FEMA camps with Ventura. They can already erase my voice off the entire internet with Shazam type software, and they're saying in this new censorship bill they're going to do that once someone's deemed a radical, they'll just have programs that erase it and shut down every account on the web. I mean, it's all being announced. You think they're arrogant now? They're a bunch of Kim Jong-il bastards. Okay, I'm going to stop. But I'm telling you, folks, they're dangerous. They're horrible criminals. They're our enemies. I know it's fun to hate the opposing football team, but that's all smoke and mirrors. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Oh. I want to get off this thing right now. I want to turn this around right now. There's an awakening happening. The fact that Ron Paul is dominating, and they've known it all along. The fact that he's been winning all the straw polls and the rest of it and raising the most money from small contributors. He raised like $5 million in the last 3 days. Last time I checked. The fact that this is going on, and the fact that even in cooked polls, Paul is 23, Romney is 20, Gingrich is 14. Gingrich has plummeted from number 1 to number 3 because people found out he's a complete and total globalist. So we've got that report going on. And then there's a bunch of other polls coming out that show him in second or third. Now, continuing, there's a lot of hit pieces now being reported. And this is an example of different polls that show the massive skewing out there. But they're definitely scared of him and saying he's probably going to win right now. Oh, and hackers, the group Anonymous, which is any cutout the government wants, have announced they're going to target the Iowa caucus so they can try to shut it down. And then now that gives the government the excuse to come in and monitor it and then engage in whatever monkey business they want. But, they wouldn't do anything because the government's there to make sure our elections are sound, even though they've been caught cheating over and over again. Then some ask, well, then why do we politically still get involved? Because we're out there educating people, putting out the issues, and exposing fraud when we find it. We know if we give up and crawl in a ditch, we're never going to have any chance. So we use these elections as a chance to educate. Now, there's been a whole bunch of hit pieces come out in the last day. Gingrich collapses in Iowa as Ron Paul surges to the front. There's the basic facts. But there's an article here out of the Atlantic Wire, kind of the liberal neocons. Why doesn't the Tea Party love Ron Paul? I don't know. He just started it in 2007 with people like myself against the globalists, and then the neocons came in and tried to take it over. And so because he doesn't think the U.S. should be like Nazi Germany and attack and invade every country on earth, he's the bad guy. That's basically what's going on that front. Here's one out of the Washington Examiner. GOP will take the gloves off if Ron Paul wins Iowa. But I've already seen probably 20 articles saying it doesn't matter now if he wins Iowa. Iowa was always absolutely key. I mean, that most of the time meant you were going to get the nomination. But now, to win the very first primary / caucus, that doesn't matter anymore. But they're going to come after him, and it's going to be the same old stuff. Back when he had put his name on 14 different newsletters. And, they said some stuff like, the rioting will stop in Los Angeles after the welfare checks don't get delivered. Stuff like that. And there you can see Paul Watson's article, Gingrich-linked propagandist recycles debunked racist Ron Paul smear. And the article has the name Alex Jones in the title, when I have nothing to do with newsletters written in 1988. But again, it's all broken down there, even from mainstream media sources, that he had 14 different newsletters at one time. It was like the internet of the age that he would loan his name to with dozens of writers. It'd be like if something was on Infowars.com or JonesReport.com and then saying, well, it's called Ron Paul Reports. And they admit most of these were supplemental special reports that would be mailed out almost daily that you'd get in like 2 or 3 days when an event happened. And again, you can read the stuff. It's like, the rioting is going to stop when the welfare checks, don't arrive. Or do arrive. I mean, that's what happened. So there's this big obsession on this, and then they say, one of the newsletters, talked bad about Martin Luther King Day and called it Hate Whitey Day. And then it turns out that in the 80s, when he first got into Congress and then got thrown out, that the only time he said that he, on record, voted for something that was unconstitutional, even though it was just symbolic, it is unconstitutional to make certain days for certain people a day when you don't go to work. That was the one time Ron Paul did that, and he's always, since the 70s, back when it was unpopular in some areas, talked good about Martin Luther King. I mean, I've seen all the old interviews. I've seen Ron Paul on Access TV when he ran for president in the late 80s, talking about Martin Luther King. In fact, those tapes are out there now on the web, and talking about the CIA drug dealing. So it's what Ron Paul says out of his mouth. not some obsession on, oh my gosh, he wasn't, something totally politically correct. And they also say in the same articles why Ron Paul said that HIV was manufactured to kill black people. He's a kook. Now, wait a minute. I thought he doesn't like black people, but he's warning in one report that there was links to it being a bioweapon, which, by the way, is in major studies. Now, that's real if you dig into that. So, he doesn't like black people, but he didn't want to kill them with HIV. You see how this works? And then also, he thinks there's going to be military on the streets. That's like all over the news right now. He was on Alex Jones's show and said this. I mean, this guy is a nut. So I told you, as soon as it was clear that he could win, they are going to come after him with everything they've got. And it's now happening. They said his son kidnapped women, wasn't a medical doctor. They would have people dress up in hayseed outfits in Kentucky, which is an insult to rural farmers, and hold signs like, I don't like Mexicans, kill them. They got caught doing stuff like that to Rand Paul. And then people would go, wait a minute, I recognize that guy. That's one of the campaign officers for the guy he's running against. I mean, this is the type of stuff. And by the way, I saw a headline today. Ron Paul supporter calls blacks monkeys. That'd be like if they went out in the street and said, we found a guy in Tucson, Arizona that says he hates Jews and likes Alex Jones. Oh, that's it for Alex Jones. I mean, it is the oldest trick in the book because he doesn't want to bomb brown people all over the world. See, he's bad. He's a bigot. He could easily say, attack Iran. He'd be president like that. They go, okay, you want it, you got it. Won't do it. He's going up against criminals who are extremely dangerous, who are setting up every form of tyranny we've seen in history that our country has always stood against. There's no doubt torture, no doubt secret arrest, no doubt any of this is the plague. It's as bad as it gets. And the guy who's not even radical. He's a real American, just a common sense, believes in freedom, and he's going to have the kitchen sink thrown at him now. So pray for Ron Paul, support him, and defend him, because you asked him to run, and I know I privately did and on air, and we twisted his arm and said, even if you don't win, you've got to educate the world. This is a great focal point for liberty. And he said, I know, I just want to basically retire and write, but I'll do it. He's a 76-year-old man doing what I couldn't do at 37, about to be 38. He works his butt off 18 hours a day, and you can see the toll on him. So remember, you asked him to do this. You got to defend him now, okay? He's in the arena. He's our champion. You got to get behind him, all right? I told you. You asked for it. He's there. I told you he could win. He's going into the pole position. This is a big deal. And, folks, they might kill him. I mean, you got to understand this. Ron Paul knows what he's done, and he's happy for that to happen. I'll guarantee you if that's the case, because that would really turn him into a martyr. And that's the one reason they may not do it. Remember what Obi-Wan Kenobi said, strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. There's no dirt on him. There's no nothing. He apologized back in the 90s when this stuff came out, and he shut the things down and fired the people because he had dozens and dozens of groups writing these things for what some of the mild stuff that's in there. And most of it's like, oh, good, look, he says they're killing blacks with AIDS. Oh, God, that's racist. Oh, look, he says the World Trade Center first attack was an inside job. It was on the news the feds cooked the bomb and trained the driver and let it go forward. New York Times. So most of the stuff in the newsletters is like, wow, this guy was Alex Jones. They say that in the Weekly Standard article. They say Alex Jones is the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world, the most popular, which means free thinker, open-minded, not a sucker, not a schmuck, not somebody to be conned and manipulated and screwed with. Okay. And in the article they say, but actually, Alex may not be the biggest. It's probably Ron Paul. It's true. It's true. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I've gone over it all. We've got some guests coming up here. I've gone over all the Ron Paul news. But, of course, we've got some Kim Jong-il clips, don't we, from Team America that I thought I would analyze and critique here. And again, Jerry corrected me. I said the president of North Korea has died, but he was only the acting deputy president. I'm sorry, his father, who died in 1994, you can look this up. He's still the acting eternal president. And they have like children's books there where they say a bolt of lightning struck and he was like born out of a fruit patch or something. And all of them are like gods. So North Korean Kim Jong-il is dead at 69. Now, the reports were he may have been dead a year ago. So I don't believe any of this, just like I don't believe from known liars in North Korea, our own government, that they really killed bin Laden when that's been proven to be phony. So who knows? He probably is dead and probably died a long time ago. He died of a heart attack while driving on one of his royal trains. That is what this is, hereditary dictatorship. Also, defectors and rumors circulating that Kim Jong-il was assassinated. Dictator's death could have been a result of internal power struggle with country's military. I mean, who knows the truth? Again, we don't know. North Korea's mourns dead leader's son hailed as great successor to the dear leader. And I played this on the radio today. I may play it later in the week and analyze it further. Talk about Stockholm syndrome of worshiping your abuser. But it's not really Stockholm, because I watched the videos of people marched in like robots by the hundreds of thousands being marched in and fake crying, like when my kid gets caught doing something wrong, doesn't want to get in trouble. I mean, that's exactly how my children act. And I'm sorry, it's just they'll go, it's terrible. But these aren't even the worst fake videos. I mean, it is so incredibly fake when you watch these videos of the fake crying. Because if you don't fake cry properly, you are off to a FEMA camp. Remember, these are the upper class that actually get an hour or two of electricity, enough food to not starve to death. They're such good parasites in crushing their public. They actually raise the majority of the public in barns. And they breed the men and women. This is on record. Only at certain points when the doctors check them, and then ship the baby, which was actually a Soviet plan, to another area, like taking eggs from a hen. That's why that quote's in 1984. And they've been so good, I don't know, like 5 million other people have died in the last few decades from starvation. And it's been confirmed by Vanity Fair that they actually sell long pork at the kind of middle class areas. Like, you got meat? You got your favorite kind, dead villager. It's a little skinny, they died of starvation, but there's some meat in the stew. And you get a nice little goblet stew if you'd like. And that's what government gives you. And look, he has the same look of Lindsey Graham, the same spirit as Lindsey Graham, a little pudgy, just bucket of horse manure. That's not kind of horse manure. I mean, another power-tripping scumbag surrounded by a thug military to protect himself so they can bully and dominate people. I have sworn on the altar of God eternal resistance over every form of tyranny, and you are it. All of you scum and trash and enemies. Oh, God, I pray for human liberty to grow and that we never have to live through this tyranny anymore and stop repeating history over and over again, and that good men and women will stand up and banish these slugs to where they deserve to be as toilet attendants. These are people that love power for power's sake. They don't have any honor. They're not into beauty, nothing. They're all a bunch of old creeps who want to show off with a bunch of weird psychos and other narcissists sucking off of them in a sycophantic display of pig worship. Okay, let's talk about something good. I saw a report a few months ago that there's been 7,000 riots. Oh, I'm sorry, we have the Kim Jong-il clips? Okay, I'm going to get to the stuff what's happening in China as they revolt against their degenerate communist ruling party, all filthy rich, waddling off people as the population's so poor that most people chain their kids up to light poles every day and go work all day just trying to get enough money. And there's blood all in their clothes coming from China now because the little kids work their fingers to the bone. That was in the news today. And the Chinese are fighting back against it, but the wicked Chinese government props up those slugs. But don't we have some clips from Team America, you said? Yeah, go ahead and play those. I guess we could put some humor to this, even though it's not funny. Here, some comic relief. Here it is. Make fun of these trash who take themselves so serious. I know there's a hell, and I know he's roasting in it right now. Let's go ahead and go to the clip.
It will be 9/11 times 2,356.
My God, that's... I don't even know what that is!
Nobody does. You heartless bastard! Why would you do such a thing? Because then there will be balance. Every country will be a third world country. Just imagine it. All around the world there will be massive explosions. With nobody to guide them, the people will break out into panic and rioting all over the earth. The true nature of humanity is unleashed. Dog eats dog as everyone attacks everyone and fends only for themselves. Global stability unravels. By the time my show is over, it will be far too late.
And again, the globalists always accuse the bad man. And again, the globalists like, oh, we're good, he's bad. No, globalist bad, Kim Jong-il bad. Iranian leadership bad, U.S. leadership bad. See, we're all trained like Coke, Pepsi, Ford, Chevy. No, none of it's good. What if I want Dodge or Mercedes or Fiat or make my own car or I want a 57 Chevy? The point is they always make you think, oh, well, our government makes fun of Kim Jong-il. But the globalists want the post-industrial world. The globalists want to shut down and make everybody poor while they live within compact high-tech systems. So they basically tell you what they're doing as we review that clip, but say Kim Jong-il wants it, and they want a global government to bring stability. No, that's not what they want. They want instability, order out of chaos to bring in their world banking dictatorship. Let's go ahead and go to the next clip.
All going to be treated to a fabulous show, but now party's over. For I am the great Kim Jong-il, and I am the greatest terrorist ever to have lived.
Terrorize this.
Oh! Ah! For your German,
Then a cockroach climbs out of his mouth, gets into a spaceship, and takes off. You got to admit, it's high art. I mean, it's an excellent film. Just don't get the super R-rated, unrated one. Believe me, it's not. I mean, it's pornographic with puppets. But in the world of puppets, whatever. So, and I'm told he got really upset by movies like that. He took himself real seriously. That's why I denigrate the British royal family, the Dutch royal family, guys like this. That's all royalty is 20 generations of Kim Jong-ils, everybody running around kissing their butts, talking about how great they are. Most of them are so inbred, you know, they're half sterile or can't even talk. You know, the British royal family, some of the sisters and people of Queen Elizabeth II, they literally had to lock up because if you want to see the photos online, I mean, I'm not putting down mentally retarded people, but I mean, these are the master race people that want to get rid of us, the commoners. You people are the inbred trash. Stop telling me and my family are trash, and you know, just because you're inbred psychos and have no feeling that I've got something wrong with me because I've got feelings. No. You think just because I have feelings, I can't look into the places you look? See, people that are well balanced can look into everything, can experience everything. I'm not like you, like a machine that can't do anything but dominate people and gets off on it. Yeah, I have a conscience. I have a governor because I'm 20 times, 100 times more powerful than you are, and so is every other person that loves life. Remember it and know it. And remember, you will be defeated, scum, and you hate yourself on top of it, and that's why you hate us. I see you, and I know who you are. Anyways, there's a Chinese village where people are fighting back and taking over the police stations. They've been fighting for months. They've had 7,000 riots, men, women, and children charging into machine gun fire, just all sorts of stuff going on. And not just in this village. This is one where they've taken it over for a long time, and human liberty is standing up over there, and we salute those folks. Continuing, finally here with some truly horrible news. It's the same old deal. Communists taking land, beating people up, police brutality. You know, in China, when they beat up some old homeless man to death that people like, they just go and burn down the police station and kill a bunch of people. And of course, they know they're going to be shot and killed. The military's going to come later after them, but they're just sick of it. See, they don't drink sodium fluoride all day. That's why they're like that. I'm not saying we should even do that. The point is, that's what Americans used to do. That's what anybody used to do who has any testosterone. All right. Finally, before we go to break here, EPA ponders expanding regulatory power in name of sustainable development. This is what Lord Monckton told us last week. Here it is. They say they're going to doesn't matter. They don't have laws. The EPA will now just do whatever it wants. And it says we'll be able to take over everything. Farming, ranching, industry, they'll just be able to say, through existing laws, we can just say that it's an environmental sustainability issue and that the cockroaches or whatever need this area. They don't have to prove something's endangered now and just take your land, of course, not for the environment, but so they can have it. So there's that report. I'm going to get Lord Monckton back on the radio show about that. We're going to go to break with a piece, a public service announcement by Human Rights Watch. And then we're going to come back with the Golden State's new video titled Bombs, a very powerful music video breaking down true peace and getting behind Ron Paul. A little clip of myself in there, Luke Rudkowski and others. I'd only heard the music. I hadn't seen the music video until they informed me today that I'm in the video. So I hadn't even watched it yet until right before we went on the air here. And then we'll basically end this transmission. But I thought that I would leave you with a little joke that McBreen did a few weeks ago, just as a joke with the crew out on the street here in Austin, Texas, that he didn't even intend to air, but I saw it and thought it was funny. And perhaps the dog has more intelligence than the general public. So here is the Infowars crew. The New York Times or somebody will probably run this and say we actually believe that we were interviewing the dog. No, this is satire, but they won't care. They think their audience is a bunch of idiots, especially this Weekly Standard guy. They enjoy deceiving you. But here's that clip as we got a break.
Excuse me. Harf, arf, narf, wolf, bark, howl, yipe, ruff, bow, wow, snarl, snarf, arf, barf. No comment? No comment. All right, man. Thank you anyway. Sorry. All right.
We were going to break. Even though it's funny, you double take every time you watch it. Even though we were going to break, I had to come back. That was not Dave Chappelle. And that was a real guy on the street. I mean, that really happened. So we'll be right back. It's Infowars Nightly News. Don't forget, you can subscribe and fund True Alternative Media, which then we give away the next day to everybody free on the internet. Millions watch it, but you are the ones paying it forward, supplying us with the globalist creds, the Federal Reserve creds we need to expand. We are expanding thanks to your support. You can get the 15-day free trial right now. We've reinstituted that. It was so popular. And there's a 44% off a yearly membership right now at prisonplanet.tv. And it's not too late to give it as a gift this holiday season, this Christmas. So it's not too late to sign up and then give somebody your username and passcode and tell them, hey, check out prisonplanet.tv, all the films and more. And Dew was whispering something in my ear. Yep, and we're still going to keep running right through Christmas where you can get all 18 of my films on DVD for $99.95, and that is over 70% off. Or you can get it for $129 with a yearly membership on top of it. That's over 70% off. Yep, like I said, we got the Human Rights Watch video coming up, and then the video put out by Golden State for Ron Paul. Stay with us.
America has a history of commitment to liberty and justice. But along the way, it has made some terrible mistakes. During World War II, tens of thousands of American citizens were detained indefinitely. During the McCarthy era, the Internal Security Act authorized detention of people based on suspicion they might be enemies. We thought we learned from these mistakes.
For here, we admit a wrong.
With the Civil Liberties Act, the U.S. apologized to Japanese Americans. The McCarthy-era detention law was also repealed. But did we really learn from these mistakes? A new bill in Congress suggests we didn't. It would allow the government to hold people indefinitely without any real ability to challenge their detention. America made this mistake before. Don't let Congress get it wrong again. Contact your representatives. Demand they reject these detention provisions. Anything less would be un-American.
And
And that's the popular band Golden State, with their new songs becoming quite a hit online, despite the recording industry trying to squash it and other alternative information. It's Golden State's Bombs, the Ron Paul song. You can find it on YouTube. But they're also launching a iTunes bomb to drive it to the top. One more way we can spread the message of liberty. And the great part about Ron Paul, he's not some political hack like Mitt Romney or Barack Obama or Newt Gingrich. Win, lose, or draw, we win by talking about the issues of liberty and shattering the controlled left-right paradigm. Now, the lead singer and songwriter of Golden State is James Grundler. And later, I'll get him to tell us a Dave Mustaine Megadeth story. He's actually opened in one of his earlier bands for Megadeth. And we'll talk about this song and some others they've done and the other great music videos that you can go to their website and watch. But this is an exciting thing that's happening right now when artists and others get behind the message of liberty. Great to have you with us.
Hey, it's good to be here.
So what got you into Ron Paul? I mean, you guys have been to the office a year or so ago. I know that you work with Janae Meadows, who does a lot of our graphics. I mean, talk about a lot of people fighting for liberty. What awoken you, and tell us about this new song.
Well, I'll tell you what woke me up was watching your original videos of the Bohemian Grove, and it pretty much snowballed from there. But Ron Paul, when he first came out, for me back in 2008, when he was running for the presidential ticket, I just really enjoyed what he had to say, and I just thought, you know, it's so powerful speaking the truth, and the truth just you can't hide from the truth, and that's what's so exciting about Ron Paul, because everything he says is the truth, and I really appreciate that, and things just progressed and grew from there, and you know, being part of something and being part of the drive to get the truth heard is something that I think most people really need to embrace. And we did that with the song Bombs. You know, that came about. And what was amazing about that song, I mean, I'm thankful for that song. Every day I'm thankful for it, because the reaction we get from that song is so fantastic. I mean, we did Ron Paul was just at the NBC Jay Leno show the other day. And we performed out in the front with all the demonstrators, and we performed Bombs acoustically out in the front. We'll have a video for that. Janae will be putting together that she videotaped and everything, so we'll be putting that up as well. But it was really fantastic. The people are so sincere and so pure, and it was just such an exciting moment. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're really just getting on board with this song Bombs and just pushing it to the top, you know, and you know, seeing where we can go from there.
Well, if you look at Ron Paul 4 years ago, he got a lot of traction, but nothing compared to what's happening now.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And they tried the same tactic of ignoring him, demonizing him, twisting things. The same thing with Rand Paul, claiming he wasn't a doctor, kidnapped women, worshipped Buddha. I mean, just all of the Aqua Buddhas, all this stuff that was just ridiculous. They had people dress up in Kentucky in racist outfits and, you know, making fun of people, claiming that they supported Rand Paul. We're going to see that. In fact, when he came into a dead heat with Newt Gingrich last week, the attack started. But now that he, in Iowa and other states, is leading, right, now they can't say he can't win. So now the attack's going to start. And I said that this morning. As of tonight, there's probably 20 mainstream articles attacking him, calling him a kook, saying, oh, he's nuts. He talks about the military wanting to operate in America when that's already happening. Where do you see this going now?
Well, like you said, I mean, it's you know, to discredit him is what they're trying to do. They're gonna demonize him. They're gonna discredit him even more and more. And you can see that it's coming so much to the forefront because they're running scared right now. I mean, the agenda is running scared, and I just see it really. It's going to be outrageous what they come up with. I mean, I'm nervous and excited at the same time because it's almost like you want to hear what they have to say because it's so outrageous what they're going to come up with. You know, to take him off of, you know, to slow his whole progress down. And you know, I just the way I view it is, you know, I feel, I mean, I get goosebumps when I hear him speak, I get goosebumps. And when I think about what a place or what a country we can have, you know, with him as the leading the helm, as being the president, you know, it's just overwhelming. And the only way that they can stop this from happening is either by, you know, rigging things and lies and spreading, you know, untruths, or by taking him out. And I hope that doesn't happen. You know, I really do. But that's how I see it. That's how.
Well, you're right. And Ron Paul's a very intelligent person. He obviously knows the path he's going on is one that leads to dirty tricks, you name it. But he understands that the message to educate people, that's where the victory is. Resistance is victory. And that's why we've all got to get behind Ron Paul now, because win, lose, or draw, if we let them spin it that even if he loses somehow, that's a defeat against liberty. No, it's not. Every time we come that much closer, every time we wake someone up, we create more and more Ron Pauls. I mean, it's the line from Spartacus where they're trying to find Spartacus, you know, to kill him or to find his body. And everybody starts saying, I'm Spartacus, I'm Spartacus, I'm Spartacus. Or it's almost like the John Galt thing. Who's John Galt? Pretty soon everybody's John Galt. And so at a certain point, they can't stop that message. And Ron Paul knows that. He understands that's going forward. But I hope people realize also that he knows what he got into. So now all of us have to really get behind what he's doing 110%.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. For sure.
Now let's talk about something a little more serious. What in Hades, what is that behind you?
Oh, this fella right here?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the Interrupter Maximus.
Who is that? Who is that?
Is that the obnoxious, stuttering hillbilly from Texas?
Oh, my God. It's so funny.
Now, listen, when we connected to you to do this interview, I like the drums, and I like your coat and everything, but what this is Big Brother-ish, looking back at myself. I'm going to be well-behaved, or Big Brother's going to get me. No, before we went live here, you were telling me that your video editor, artist person, Janae, such a talent, actually has that in one of your other music videos.
Well, yeah, we did a video for what she did. She directed it, put it all together. It was for a song called World on Fire, which we aired about a month or two ago. And you were featured in it. So it's our little homage.
Well, I'm a fan of Golden State. I'd already heard some of your music before you guys gave me a CD when you were here last year. And again, I'm a fan of the work Janae's done graphics-wise in the last 3 years. People can see a big difference in the quality of our graphics. And I know she's doing so many other projects.
I recognize your music for the nightly news as well.
That's right. That's right. That was you guys, wasn't it?
That's right.
Well, we had that computer intro that came with the Apple.
Right.
And we were trying to work on getting one ourselves. And everybody's like, hey, I've heard this in other newscasts, you're stealing it. And I'm like, no, everyone uses it. So you guys made us an original one. And again, I just want to thank Golden State for all you've done. And certainly maybe tomorrow night we'll air the World on Fire that you talked about. But I heard a giggle back there. Is Janae there?
Oh, yeah. Our little elf. Yes, she is. She's here.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, get on screen right now. Hi.
Hello.
Come on.
Okay.
Let's block out the ugly hillbilly behind you.
Hello.
Hey, what's your view on Ron Paul? Because you know we love him, we care about him. He's a great guy, but now we really know the big guns are coming out against him, and it's going to be painful, I think, to watch the beating he's going to get with a cat or nine tails. But the mainstream media has lost a lot of its credibility, so it may actually backfire on him. What's your view on that?
Well, I mean, I know you've just been seeing him get attacked in these debates, and it's crazy. You get so fired up just watching it because it's just like, it's coming at him. But he's been, he's
been aggressive, and I
since like 2008, he's come out of the blocks.
He really has. He's come out of his shell because I think you said this the other day. You were saying somebody was, I think it was the sheriff. You said milquetoast. And it was, and it was like, originally Ron Paul was very much like milquetoast,
He had to,
originally.
He had to play it safe,
but
now
he does. But now he's got so much.
The support is
so much support. Yeah. He can really come out and swing.
Well, I think more than just that, and I think that's right to a certain extent. He is a very humble guy.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but he realizes, in fact, he said on my show last week, he said, well, I do have to get more focused and a little more aggressive because, he's a doctor. He's like a nice little, country doctor. But when they really do attack him, though, that is when he gets fired up and goes after him.
Oh, man, that whole Michelle Bachmann thing, that the other day when she was saying that's a dangerous thing anyone could ever say up here on the panel. And, it was so ridiculous. And what was so funny is how she kind of faded off and, I stand with the American people. I stand with
She's like, I just want to keep him safe. And again, they're trying to invoke fear, like, give us all your liberties.
I know. It's so ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
He was just like, no. And he actually turned his body.
I know.
Like,
and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Yeah.
It was really good.
And when they were about to not let him respond, he said, no, I get this time. I mean, I've thought for a while he needs to basically, get mad and say, I get 89 seconds, they get 15 to give you packaged establishment answers. It is time for you guys to be fair. And you know what? It's backfiring on you that, he's now being excluded from some debates. They're saying it's so outside the parameters of the Republican Party that he doesn't want to have endless preemptive war. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
It is crazy. But yeah, you're right. I'm so glad that he is speaking up now and just calling him out on it. Like,
absolutely.
Pointing it out.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's so exciting. And he even said that when he was on Jay Leno the other night, they don't even ask the right questions. The journalists that supposedly ask the questions at the debate, they ask all the wrong questions. It's all right there. But nobody wants to address the questions that is so obvious right under your nose. It's so funny. It's funny.
Well, we came in with the music video, and folks on YouTube and other channels out there can go to Golden State at YouTube and get this great video and the other wonderful political videos out to everybody. And it is up to the people for folks to do that. The song is Bombs, the Ron Paul song.
That's right. That's right. And we are we're hoping to get that to #1 on iTunes. That's our whole goal right now, and all the proceeds go to
the Rev Pack,
the Rev Pack,
Super Pack.
That's right.
Oh, and they're also going to be playing a fundraising event January 7th
That's right,
in New Hampshire.
7th,
so if you're in Manchester, New Hampshire, we're going to be playing it. Yeah, visit the website for details on that too.
Yeah.
Oh, and your Megadeth story.
Oh, my Megadeth story. Is Janae interviewing me here, or what's going on?
No.
No, you were just saying how it's funny how the circle goes around and around, because you were saying you've opened for Megadeth before, and Dave Mustaine's all politically awake now. That's great.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I was mentioning this last night. We played a show at the House of Blues last night, and we were just talking about. There was a lot of truthers that came out to the show, and we invited them backstage, and we were just talking about certain things, and we were talking about your show, and we were talking about Dave Mustaine and Megadeth, and I said, I actually opened up for Megadeth years and years and years ago with a band called the Din Pedals, and we got to about our 4th song. That's about as far as we got in our set, because if you listen to our music, it's really not the same type of genre.
Yeah, thrash metal.
Yeah, thrash metal. But we got to about our 4th song, and at that point, there's about 7,500 people, and if you've ever been to that Red Rocks Auditorium Arena, it's just this. It goes straight up, and you see just a sea of people. And imagine batteries being thrown at you, apples, and I think the soft drink at the time was called Surge. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
But that was coming at us, just coming at us like a big wave of stuff. And my bass player at the time was like headbutting all like batteries off his head and doing soccer kicks with things. And I'm chanting to the audience and like saying, "Oh, you Beavis and Butthead, you don't." And they were like throwing everything towards. They had to rip us off the stage because all of Megadeth's equipment was getting pelted by all this stuff. It was so funny.
Hey, but it's funny how bad stuff like that becomes, some of the funniest stories.
Absolutely. I mean, I love telling that story, and what's crazy is that I'm a fan of Megadeth. I mean, I love Metallica, I love Megadeth, I love those bands.
Well, that just shows that, like you book even great classical up against something else that, that clashes with it. Those type of folks are going to get mad. Now, again, it's goldenstateband.com. That's the website. How do we push this to the top of the charts as another political statement? Because they keep telling resistance is futile. We can't beat them. But clearly, look how far we've come. Let's go to the next level. And, of course, your song won't save the world, but all of us trying together will save the world. It's all that effort together. So how do we push this song to number one?
Well, what people can do is they can gift the song. It's as many times as you can download it. If there's download it as many times as you can. I mean, if 10 people, 20,000 people, 100,000 people,
10,000 people download it 20 times, then it can get to number one, actually. So
we just want to impact iTunes. I mean, because that's, people are always on the computer and they always see what the hit songs are. And if we can make this a hit song, it's another way of getting Ron Paul into people's faces. I mean, that's how you do it.
Well, that's a great idea. It's an iTunes bomb.
That's it. iTunes bomb, and the song is called Bombs.
Dropping bombs on the New World Order. And you've got some rallies coming up, too.
That's right. We got a rally in New Hampshire, in Manchester, and we're going to be playing there, playing our song acoustically for everybody there. And I think Adam Kokesh is going to be at the show as well.
Yep.
He's speaking. And a couple other performers as well. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. And we're just getting everybody excited, getting everybody into it.
And we've got a graphic up on screen with the phone numbers, all the facts, where you're playing, what's happening in New Hampshire. But also we've got a photo from you playing acoustically in front of the Tonight Show. And none of the LAPD gave you any evil Americans any problems?
No, actually, I think they were really into it.
No, I mean, that's the good news, is that more and more police, military, well, we've already talked about the fact the media is like, the military doesn't like the fact he doesn't like endless war, and it doesn't like the fact he doesn't want to nuke Iran because we're peaceful and they're not. But, and then you look at the numbers, he's getting more contributions than Obama and all the other Republicans combined in presidential race.
Absolutely.
So the system doesn't speak for the military. The military, the men and women, they want to fight forever. And if you don't support feeding them into a meat grinder, you hate them. In closing, Janae, any other points you'd like to make?
No, just so you can visit itunesbomb.com if you want to watch the video and download the song. There's a link on there. And visit the website for details on the New Hampshire thing. Facebook it up, too. Facebook/Golden State Band.
What's the easiest place to find? GoldenStateBand.com or the iTunes Bomb one?
You can go right to GoldenStateBand.com.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the video right there on the iTunes link, too.
Yeah, either or will do.
And then, because we had that one on screen, but what's the iTunes Bomb one again?
iTunesBomb.com.
iTunesBomb.com. Hey, that's a good idea. Now you can come up with lots of different bombs.
Yeah, that's what we're
This is a good bomb.
Yeah.
It's bombing upward. It's not bombing. Well, listen, you guys are great. What's coming next? More Ron Paul songs?
Well, we'll see, man. We're going to just be touring around and spreading the word.
All right. Well, James Grundler and crew, thank you so much. And now you can...
Thanks, Alex.
Is that ugly creature behind you always there?
Always. Always.
It's like the anti-Big Brother. We'll put it that way. Thanks a lot, guys, and keep it up.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, that's the type of interview I like to do with some good news. And as long as we're up and moving and taking action, we're still in the game. And we can turn this around if the people awaken. There is an awakening happening, but we need to accelerate that awakening. I want to thank the crew also for their work and all of you that subscribe to PrisonPlanet.tv. And Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central. The mere fact that we're on air, the mere fact that we were able to build this thanks to your support and spreading the word, shows that liberty is not out of the game, not out of the fight. And so, again, I am extremely honored to be your host, and want to thank you for watching. There's a lot of other stuff to do out there, but the people that watch this show and take action with the information, you are the people that give this country and this world any hope for our future generations. So we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Welcome, my friends. It is Monday, December 19th, 2011. As we prepare to close out the year, 2011 is certainly long in the tooth. We mourn the death of the dear leader, Kim Jong-il, but of course his president father is still president, even though he died in the mid-1990s, because he is eternal leader, and now they have passed on the flame to the latest runt in a jumpsuit engaging in genocide against his own people. And before we talk about the sad passing of Kim Jong-il and get into the exciting news that Ron Paul has turbocharged to the pole position as the official campaign for president begins, as the Republican primary is about to kick off in Iowa, he is now dominating with a healthy lead at number one, the guy that couldn't win, can't win. More than 80% of the people that end up getting the win in Iowa end up getting the Republican nomination, but now they're back saying now Iowa doesn't matter as Ron Paul surges into the pole position as the campaign kicks off. So we're going to be talking about that as well. But first, I need to get to some very, very serious news this evening. And that deals with the latest developments on Kellogg, Brown, and Root. And the fact that they were given the government contract to build the FEMA camps, the latest round of FEMA camps that were built in 2006, the $380+ million just to build those new camps. Well, even though we had phone numbers, emails, it was a public contract that they got, people didn't believe it. No mainstream media picked up our story. And every day, mainstream media follows our lead and picks up reports that we break. And we're a credible news organization, and everybody knows that. But this is something that was totally blacked out. Now, thanks to listeners pointing it out, on the official federal government contract website, they have the National Responder Support Camp that deals with concertina wire, blockades, jails, the whole 9 yards. We have from back in May of this year, where the federal government quietly went out and put out the bid not to build